Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch AHCI, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to talk about is Matt's brilliant collection. And I say that it's brilliant because the watch choices are so incredible. This first one here is the Sarpaneva KO Seasons. And they make 20 pieces for each season, and so there's a total of 80 watches from the Seasons collection each year from Sarpaneva. Now, this is the summer one, and it looks like I have two different watches there. It's the same watch. They change color in the light, and it's really an amazing watch. It has a modified Soprod A10 movement, and Soprod is sort of like they make what are often considered upscale ETA movements, and the A10 is used by a number of other good watch companies. And so anyway, this is 46 millimeters. Now it has very small lugs, so it doesn't wear that big, and so you can chop off a few of the millimeters by having smaller lugs. By the way, I'm wearing my FP Journe Chronometre Souverain, and it's got bigger lugs. Okay, so let's go on. Now this next watch, this was Matt provided two different versions of it. One was this is called the SUF Helsinki with Heyne. Okay, and I'm sure I mispronounced the Finnish. They're from Finland, and this again is from Stephen Sarpaneva. This is his entry level, and they're called SUFs, and the dials are made by Kari Voutilainen's dial factory. I didn't realize Voutilainen had a dial factory, and so here are with the two different straps on it. You have a sort of like a NATO strap, and then you have a leather strap. In both cases, or a gator strap. In both cases, it looks like a very versatile watch. I like it's got very clean lines on it. Great big old arrowheads for pointing. All right. Now this one uses an Eterna 391A caliber, and it's 42 millimeters. So one of the things I want to cover next week, next Friday, is looking at some of the movements that we don't think about too much. Generally, we have either in-house or ETA or Solita, which it's a ETA clone. But there's some other ones too, and Eterna is one of the interesting ones that we don't really look at too much. Okay, now this next one is the Häbering2 Doppel 3. And the Doppel 3, you can't see it here, but it's a retina point, split second. That what looks like 1 second hand will split in two. And the Doppel 3, originally Richard Häbering developed this mechanism for IWC back in the 90s when he used to work up at IWC. Brilliant watchmaker, just with everything. Now, there's the Doppel 3 is the latest of two different Häbering2 Doppels. One is called the Häbering2 Doppel Felix, and the other one is this particular one. The caliber is A08 MR mono. And it has a different movement in it, and it's very much one that has been redone by Richard Häbering. And this is a wonderful watch. On my I really want it list is the Häbering2, the but I want to get to Doppel Felix. The reason for it is the only way I can afford it is to trade in my current Felix. Boy, but that's a cool watch. It's just an unbelievably cool watch. Okay. Oh, by the way, too, it's the same one. It's just two different pictures of the same watch. One that shows a lume on the one on the right. Okay. Now next, this is my Grail watch. This is a Lang and Heyne Friedrich III. Oh boy. Now, what do I like about this watch so much? It has the Marco Lang's caliber 6. Now this is the caliber 6 is very interesting. This was a return, quote, return to their simpler kind of goals that they had when they first started Lang and Heyne. In fact, Heyne, who was there for about 6 months before he left. But their idea, Marco Lang and partner Heyne at the time, was this is the kind of watch they wanted. It was nice and simple. But what happened, they kept making these more and more incredibly great watches. And so then this represented sort of a return to simplicity, but it's different. Boy, I tell you, that's all that's left of the plate on that thing is a bridge. You can really see everything. So Friedrich III is really my Grail watch. I saw a one with the caliber 1 in it, and I like it. I loved it. But you can't, the caliber 6 is similar but different, but the big thing is it really opens it up. And of course, that dial on that watch is just gorgeous. And even though I'm not a fan of Roman numerals, I'll take whatever number they put on a Lang and Heyne. And the cathedral hands that they have with those big spears on the end. It's a stainless steel watch, and it has it's called the galvanic black dial, and it's in solid silver. But the big thing about this watch that I like the best is that caliber 6. Flip that thing over, and man, I think I'd wear it backwards. It's such a nice watch. But this is, by the way, too, there's a thing I was looking at the strap on it. One of the things that a lot of people just go nuts about is the watch having 3 lugs, and it's the center lug. You say, well, how am I supposed to get a strap for that? And it looks like this is a 2-lug strap. You simply take an X-Acto knife and cut out a little gap in there for the 3rd lug. It's not rocket science. But I really like this one, and I like that green gator strap on it too. Wonderful, wonderful. 39 millimeter, great size for a watch. That, to me, it's one of the perfect sizes because it so many different people can wear that. Okay. All right. Now, after looking at that first group of watches, you say, "Oh, isn't there anything like a normal?" Oh yeah. First of all, there's the Audemars Piguet with a classic, beautiful royal oak with a gray dial, which isn't too common. But this one just looks great. One of the things about a gray dial on a royal oak, I think, is that it gives it a lot more range. It still can be sporty, but it's also something you could, for date night. Great looking watch. Now, this next one is Pinion, which is from a British company, and it's got a Valjoux 7734 in it. And it's called the 1969 chronograph. It's 43 millimeters. It's a good size watch, and it's just the style. It's not the date of the watch. But this is another one. I really don't know much about Pinion. I just found out about it recently, and then I saw it here in Matt's collection, and it's a cool watch. It really is. I like that. All right, moving right along. Okay, now, for those of you who who want conventional world, here you have Rolex GMT Master II. Now you may ask, what in the world, if someone's going to have a Rolex and a GMT Master, why get two? Why not get, a Rolex GMT Master and a Sub or a Sky Dweller or any other number of ones? Why have two of the same kind? Well, it's sort of an interesting story. First of all, I like the GMT Master II. It was one of the ones that I had picked. And it has a GMT hand on it that you sort of have to look around to see. And I'm going to be coming back to that later. There was something left over from our pilot watch discussion I want to touch upon. But here's what happened. This one is, it's got the root beer bezel on the right. There's another thing I like. There's not much I don't like, I'm afraid. Anyway, this has got the two-tone bracelet, and I think it's a combination gold and stainless steel. All right. Well, what happened was that Matt got the what I'll call the regular GMT Master II stainless steel, or they call it, I think, oyster steel, and it's fine. That's a great watch and everything. So he has this watch, and he sees this other one. He says, "Wow, look at that!" He really liked the color. He liked the gold in it, so he got it. Now, I know that a lot of watch collectors have watches that they end up with that way. Matt said that if he had had the one with the root beer bezel first, he would have never gotten the other one. That's happened, I think, to probably more than one collector. You have something, you really like it, then you see another the same that you like a whole lot more. I'm surprised I don't have about 10 Parmigiani Colpas because I see so many I like. Okay, so Rolex GMT Master II. All right, so there's all of these choices are so interesting, I think, in Matt's collection. Now here's one that is very interesting. Now this is Ochs and Junior Perpetual Calendar. It has two different straps on it. One is the blue that goes with sort of a turquoise color dial on it, and the other is a leather strap. Now the color is only added. There's nothing is painted or dyed or enameled. All of the color is a natural color that's brought out by heating, and so you have everything about this watch is really interesting. Now, to me, the most interesting thing about it is a perpetual calendar. And if you notice the little dots that go around it at about 12, right after the 12 o'clock point, there are two that are stacked on top of each other. And what those are used for, they have, I think they're the days of the month, and it's really interesting the way this watch works. Okay, now here's the thing that's remarkable about that. The movement is a UN 118, which is a Ulysse Nardin. Okay, and what they did, or what Ludwig Ossian did, was to put a perpetual calendar in there, 8 parts to add to the to make a perpetual calendar. He just added, well, yeah, 9. No, I'm sorry, not 8, but 9 additional parts. Patek Philippe has like 181 parts that they added for their perpetual calendar. So this is really a really brilliant watchmaker who put this together. This is an amazing watch. Anyway, so again, another part of these incredibly good watches. Well, now that's it for Matt's collection, and if you have any suggestions, we'd all love to hear them. I think Matt would like to hear some. Where do you go from here? When you got this brilliant collection like this. And I don't know, to tell you the truth. This is one of those collections where you have so many great choices. Say, well, you ought to get one of these or one of these. I just don't see anything that I would suggest that would probably be as good and as smart as the choices that Matt would make, because he's made some fantastic, just amazing choices and watches, and they're very creative. They're not the standard. I got the two Rolexes. I love that, especially the story that goes with it. And it's a beautiful example. If you're going to get a Royal Oak, that's the kind of Royal Oak to get. Okay, so those are the standard ones. Everything else is brilliant. Now, the last thing I want to talk about today, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. Several people wrote me and said, how come the GMT Master II wasn't selected over the Explorer II for a pilot's watch from Rolex? Now, one of the interesting things was that Bob from Bob's Watches, he had selected the Explorer II also as a pilot's watch. And I didn't think much about it at the time. I thought, yeah, okay, that sort of makes sense. And took a look at it again, and it had been one of the ones I liked too. In fact, both of these watches were ones I really liked. But if you look at the GMT, now, and again, I'm talking about GMT for the Zulu time that pilots would actually need, okay? If you look at the Explorer II, you can spot that GMT time, boom, right away, that big orange one, sticking right there, the orange against the white, clear as a bell. Now, you got to look around in the GMT Master II. What they did is, to me, a very poor information design. You have your indexes that are little circles in white with a gray outline, gray or silver outline. They're circles, little rectangles, or at the top at 12 o'clock, a triangle. And then at the end of the GMT handle, the arrow there is the same. And if you look at it, you can see that it's sort of like camouflaged among the others. Whereas with the Explorer II, boy, that GMT hand sticks out. Now, let me say this, is that somebody at Rolex must have seen that, because with the old Explorer II, they had the gray outline around the white arrow on it. And someone must have said, well, gee whiz, that's sort of hard to see, so why don't we just make the whole thing orange outline on the arrowhead. And so they did. And it's something that, so that was why. That was why I said, well, I'd take the Explorer II over the GMT Master II in this case, simply because I think there's better information design as far as the GMT is concerned with the Explorer II. And if you're, waiting for takeoff or something, you're waiting for your Zulu time to show up, you take a look. You don't have to play Where's Waldo. And on the GMT Master, I think you do. Okay, now, this is not bad things I'm saying about Rolex or the GMT Master. It's just that one element. There's better information design on the Explorer II in this particular case. Okay, I usually hears from people who have Rolexes, especially GMT Masters. Maybe I'll hear from Matt too. What are you talking about? That's okay. All right, well, so let's hear from you. As always, as always, an invitation to subscribe if you like. And until next Friday, this is Bill Sanders with Watch AHCI, the art and science of watch collection.